that mean that they had sex in the basement in front
with
of
a dead body?
Oh my god, so disgusting.
I mean, I know you have to have zero standards in order to get with Gil in the first place, but that's just, that's like a new low.
Welcome to The Story Thinker, a Webtoons and Witcher podcast for superfans with scene-by-scene analysis. Featuring sharp co-hosts for a fuller picture, we dive deep into character psychology, relationships, and theories. We'd love it if you could like, subscribe, comment, and rate us on all podcast platforms and social media. For bonus content, you can support The Story Thinker on Patreon. Let's begin.
Hello everyone and welcome to Midnight Poppyland episode 112, and today we are with Mem and Sakura.
Hi.
And thank you for joining, and thank you him for joining. In circumstances not being home, we appreciate the dedication.
Anytime.
Yeah, I always think it's fun to see like where everyone is. So, and I've definitely traveled and done the podcast too. So, yeah. All right. So we this episode answers the question that we all had, which was, how did Louis fake being dead? So was this satisfying for you to learn the answer?
So, sorry, one more time.
Was it satisfying to learn like how this played out, that Louis played dead?
Go ahead.
Got it. So pretty much I think this I guess not everybody would be lucky, but I would say that was some sort of like her lucky her lucky day, I would say, because I feel like but like it's smaller, so
I like how you're defining like her worst day in her life as like, and now she's lucky because she managed to fool her husband who tried to kill her that she's dead. It's like very relative.
I think that she like was so smart though, the way she played it as much as she did. Like that, like just some of the stuff that she did in order to like fake being dead. Man, that would have been hard. And like I feel like she's way smart. You know what I mean? Like despite being married to that. Anyway, but like she's got her wits about her. She has, I feel like being able to think of that kind of stuff under that kind of pressure, I feel is a talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually she says something very insightful about their marriage. So yes, let's get into it. So okay, so we had here Gil, he's kicking the body bag, and he's just like, oh my god, he's horrible, stupid bitch, look at the mess you got me into. Wow, she is the one who got him into it. Wow, this is just narcissist, abusive man 101.
He's like gaslighting her even when he thinks she's dead. What?
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. And he's on the phone and he's like, Patrick, it's Sean. And then we see Shark in the back. He's like, Shane, the code name's Shane. And he continues, Shane, yes, it's ready. Collection this Thursday. It's in a body bag. You won't miss it. Out at sea? Yeah, sure. Just do a clean job. And what did we learn from this short little interaction? You guys remember last time we had Shane was mentioned? It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I didn't notice that because it's been so long, and until somebody mentioned it in the Facebook group, and I was like,
yes, I also remember because I for the quiz that I did, I reread like some episodes, so I reread that and I was like, oh my god, it's Shane. So Shane was the guy who was hired. No, sorry, the guy who hired the white-haired guy to break into Goliath's apartment, and then Tora caught him there, brought him to Vincent. This was in episode 5, and then Vincent slits his throat. Yeah, it's horrible. so that was and we never heard about the Shane guy again. We just know that he was hired, this kid. Now we see. So it seems as though Shane is like a code word for whenever they have like some dirty work that has to get done. They just use the word Shane.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
So what do you think that means? Do you think Shark sent this kid to search Goliath's apartment?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that was him. Or actually, I don't know, maybe it could have been Gil, but he seems uncomfortable with the code name. Sorry, I'm so sorry. But he seems like uncomfortable with the code name, so I don't feel like it would have been him. I think that it would be Shark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have a feel, yeah, it's weird. Like we were introduced to Shark at the beginning, and now it seems he's way more involved than we realized he was.
Then
Yep.
again, how long has it been since then? Like in Midnight Poppyland time for us, it's been like what, how long? But you know, Midnight Poppyland time is what, maybe a couple weeks, a week,
Like up to a month, a
maybe.
I don't know.
And you have to think about it.
So I mean,
yeah. So is Shane trying to get the notebook? Is that what I said, right? Because
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Does he know that Gil has the notebook now? What do you think? Gil not. So are they like intercoursing, but is Gil still keeping secrets from his lover?
That's what I. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I would say, yeah, there was actually a secret there because it's a lot of mentions there, Gil. And
Sakura, it's hard to hear what you're saying. It's like a lot of it's cutting out. I don't know why, but sorry.
Can you hear me now?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Yep. So I would say that was Gil. I feel like he was pretty shady from the beginning. So, you know, I feel he wouldn't work because since he has intentions. Of course, about the notebook, I guess he knows about it after that. So probably they were linking somewhere too deep, like investigation and basically go through his goals to get the. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of theory into it. Some people say he doesn't have the notebook. Some people say he does, but overall, I would say that yeah, he's trying to get further with the notebook.
What do you think?
Sure.
What do you think Gil is keeping secrets from Shark?
I don't know. I kind of almost feel like maybe they were working together to find it, but at the same time, it's just as plausible that he is using Gil because he knows that he has it. I don't.
I wouldn't trust him. Classic.
I don't.
With someone to get them to give you their secrets.
Yeah,
that's really putting yourself out there though, just to sleep with this person, just to get a notebook. I feel like that. I mean, it's, you know, classic honeypot situation, but like, God, to really put yourself with Gil, I feel is. I mean, he's really dedicated to getting that notebook. Whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, probably very valuable. All right, so he's on the phone and he's like, worried? I'm not worried. You don't need to know who I'm with. Just call me when you get click. So he's like, obviously they asked him who he was with and he didn't want to say anything. And they hung up on him. He's like, hello. And at the same time, the dinosaur is over there and he doesn't even notice it. Ugh, jerk. Like it just tells you so much about him. It's so symbolic that like this guy doesn't know about his baby. I mean, even if he did know about him, he'd step all over him.
Yeah.
He just does not care. Like classic narcissist, does not care about anybody other than himself.
Oh yeah. Especially they have a lot of lack of empathy there.
Yeah. Zero empathy. And he's like, he hung up on me, dickhead. So he gets offended by others. And now
She's the one who's gonna
what's it called? Shark is staring at his phone. And and he said, should I tell him to check it again? Well, what does that mean? What does he want him to check? Sounds like there's something more going on that we just don't know yet. That check something.
It seems like he's saying it off to himself. So maybe he's saying like check and make sure the guy's gonna be there. I don't know. Or maybe to check the dead body to make sure she's still dead.
Yes. Whoops. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that's I'm sorry. That's right. That's what it is. Yeah.
Power is
And now he asks him, like, where to? I'll give you a list. He says, in your car, too risky. I'll get a cab after you leave. We don't know if anyone's in the vicinity. So they don't want to be seen together. And then Shark back to himself. He's like, nah, amateurs. He basically decides not to check Louise. And then he's like, all right, bro. And Gil's like, let's go. This place is creeping me out. Wow. It's like, yeah, I don't know what it is.
He's just so icky, like major icks, you know?
Yep. And Shark's like, now you're creeped out? As in, like, you weren't creeped out before when you were killing your wife, but okay. Didn't like the thrill. Oh my gosh. And does that mean that they had sex in the basement in front
with
of
a dead body?
Oh my god. So disgusting.
I mean, I know you have to have zero standards in order to get with Gil in the first place, but that's just, I mean, that's like a new low.
Oh my gross. Wow. Well, yeah, Lily is doing her best acting this character.
It's the worst.
And he's like, all right, bro, chill. And Gil's like, yeah, but I don't appreciate your taunts very much. And they're clanging their way out of there. We see the basement with a bag there and like some old shelves and a desk, some random stuff. And Louise is there. She's like sweating and trembling, and she's looking through this hole in the body bag. And she, looking at the door so she can see that they've left. And she, sits up, gets out of there. She's panting. She's nervous. And then she's like, coughing. It sounds like she's throwing up, which unsurprising given what she just experienced in many ways. Wow. Can you imagine?
Yeah, no kidding. She could also just be like heaving, like dry heaving.
She's also still pregnant, so
like that's
pregnant people throw up. Wow. Yeah, this is a crazy situation. So she goes up to the door. She tries to open it, and she's like, oh, damn it. Too much to hope, but it's locked. And it's like, it's too much to hope that he got careless a second time, huh? I can't believe he didn't check to make sure I'm really dead. How do you try to kill her? What do you do? Bang her over their head or something? Like, you see blood on her head.
I guess, I don't know.
Seems especially careless to bang someone over the head and think that they're dead rather than a concussion, but okay.
That's so careless, but whatever.
And like, then again, he's always been squeamish about blood and icky things. Husbands, am I right? Oh my god, which is obviously a reference to periods.
Yeah. I actually saw something. It was from Game of Thrones, and I guess I didn't really watch that show, but where like Jon Snow is saying like, oh, you're not like the other maidens who would faint at the sight of blood. And she's like, what girl would faint at the sight of blood? Like we see this literally monthly. We see blood monthly,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's also funny because Louise, this is the second time she's made a joke in dire. Well, it's really the first time because it's a flashback. But on the island, she also makes a joke about when she's in dire circumstances. She makes a joke about Tom Cruise or whatever, which is she's funny. Like she's in this like desperate situation and she's cracking jokes to herself.
It reminds me, like she is definitely like the always look on the bright side of life type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we see also based on what she says next about Gil. And she asks herself, what would a true crime survivor do? That woman in last week's episode baited her kidnapper with sex, but I stand a higher chance being dumped into the sea and surviving. And she's like, but suddenly realizes she has her eyes wide and she's like, did that actually work? So okay, she's thinking. And then she thinks to herself, Gil told that Patrick guy to be here on Thursday, so I just need to play dead and stay alive until then. And she sees my phone. And she's like, oh, damn it, battery's dead. I can't take it with me. He'll notice it's gone for sure, but maybe. And then we don't know what happens next, but we get a hint later in the episode as to what she does. Did you know what she was gonna do over here?
I had no idea. I was supremely surprised. Man, I like this whole episode though. She is so aware. Is all I've got to say. Like that woman. put in some work. Like she's really smart. Like maybe not, maybe she isn't like the type of smart that is like, oh, I know the entire periodic table, but she is the type of smart, like the street smart. Like she's got her wits about her. Like I can't say for sure that I'd be able to do any of the things that she's doing in that same situation,
Right. Yeah, she's cool. And now she's wheel shoes, because what does she step on?
A rat.
A rat. And instead of like screeching her head off, she just says "Gah," and she's like, but then she picks the rat up and she's like, dead rat, rest in peace, little buddy. It's still warm. Oh my God. Would you guys ever pick up a rat like that?
No, not a dead one.
Yeah.
Nope.
I've held rats. Like a friend of ours had like a pet rats and they were fine to hold. But
Yeah,
like,
those are fine, but like dirty street rats,
Yeah.
that might be carrying diseases.
Exactly.
Not so much. No.
yeah.
I feel like when it comes to, I feel like was hamsters are actually part of rodents, because I heard they are.
Mhm.
But I feel like for me, I would say like maybe rodent related, like hamsters and all. But where I think you understand, Midi, if you go to New York City, it's always going to
Yep.
Yeah, the rats are huge there. I saw so many of them in the subway and they were gigantic. But yeah, no, those rats, you don't know where they've been. At least like pet rats, like you could like usually people take them to like vets and stuff like that. They take good care of them. You don't know where street rats have been. Street rats can have all sorts of diseases. They carry plague. No, thank you.
Nope. So yeah, so she picks up the rat and she's like, she thinks to herself, it's gonna stink by Thursday. So now we know where that stink came from, because Gil kicked her and he's like, oh, you're starting to smell. So it was the rat. Yep. So she takes the rat with her for stink protection. And then she thinks there must be food in here too. And she finds some cans. Now, here's the weird thing. The cans are closed, except for one of them is open. And she eats it, even though it's open. But okay, whatever. And that one has like a flip top. The other one doesn't. But whatever. Let's just assume they all have flip tops. So I was like, where's the can opener? Whatever. We'll just pretend they all have flip tops. Like, fingers crossed it hasn't gone bad. Growing up poor has its issues after all. So it sounds like it's their basement then, because it's like those. What do you think? Is that their basement?
I don't know. Like she said, there's got to be food around here somewhere, which I know maybe, I don't know, because I would not expect that of like most basements. But then again, like, I don't know. That's a great question. She might just be saying like in general, because it looks like there's some food storage shelves around. So maybe she just kind of figured that there has got to be food around there somewhere, just like based on like, when she's saying growing up poor has its uses after all. If you look, those storage shelves in the background look like maybe like it would have been used to like store food and stuff like that. So maybe she was just saying in general. I have no idea though.
What do you think, Sakura? Is it their basement?
I would say, yeah, probably, because if they're like, as she mentioned that if there would be food there, then why not? But I also see there's a lot of furnitures down there too, and I also like. Let me see.
Let's make sure he's.
It's hard to hear.
It's a lot.
Getting cut off again. Sorry.
Yeah, it's there. So I would say in a chair. So I guess.
Yeah, I think it is their basement, because I think, Gil killed her in their house. I think he just dragged her downstairs. I don't think they went anywhere else. Her phone was there. So when I woke the next time around, Gil was alone and talking to my dead body. Quote, quote. He was convinced I was dead. My plant was going to work. And we see the flashback where he says, I had a lucky break from whoever the F's been tailing me for days, or God knows how long I take to get to our secret hideout. Oh wait, well, maybe not. Maybe it's a secret hideout, because he said to get back to our secret hideout. Yeah, sorry, never mind. It's a secret hideout. And she said, but I wasn't relieved. I was devastated. As soon as I heard his voice again, I wanted to jump out and tell him that I loved him, like I always did in the past. because this time it would be different. This time he would change. Whoa, until I realized that after all the chances I've stupidly wasted over the years, the universe had given me another one. But wow, this is insane, because she's literally sitting in a body bag because her husband tried to murder her, and she still thinks maybe this time it'll be different. Whoa, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it just goes to show like how like in your head these abusers get, you know, into your head, and like they, you know, really screw up your way of thinking, because, you know, normally you would never think, oh yeah, that's a reason of like, that would never cross your mind. But you know, like it just goes to show like how long he's been abusive to her.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, there's a lot of people out there who have this situation where, you know, outsiders are like, why are you with them? They're abusive, horrible people. And then the spouse is like, but they're not so bad over time. You know, they bought me like an apple once, you know? And you know, you wonder how, but unfortunately it's something a lot of people deal with, because it's very hard to break away from someone.
Mm.
I agree. I feel like Louise, like we see in her character, that she could be a positive person. She wants to see the good in someone, but sometimes, like in general, we always think like we want, even though we tend to ignore red flags.
You know, it's like a red planet.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
tell me about it.
But then there tends, like, I know we want to give, sometimes like a lot of people will give a benefit of a doubt for someone, but I think that she wants to, I feel like you said, that she mentioned that she wants to see the good in Gil, but it's not the case, because a narcissist change.
Yeah, clearly is irredeemable.
Yeah,
right.
screw that guy.
Beautiful symbolism where she sees Gil's kicking the rhino, sorry, the triceratops
Yeah.
the hole, and you know, she says the universe is giving her another chance, and she sees the rhinoceros which she made for her kid. So you know, it seems like she's thinking of her kid as another chance to have that life. So now we're back in the basement. She takes the phone. Sorry, this is Gil.
Gil takes the phone.
Right. After he's there, he takes the phone, puts it in his pocket. So she was right. She couldn't have taken the phone because we would have noticed it was missing. And she, meanwhile, is holding her stomach. And she's thinking to herself, and it filled me with a kind of resolve I've never felt before, the resolve to leave. And she's, you know, stroking the triceratops, and she has tears in her eyes because now she's finally realizing that's it. She has to leave the basement, leave Gil, you know, both of them.
I feel like this part is actually giving a clarity. I actually got now, like, first time Gil has been treated very, you know, like I was saying, in the first episode, I think not even
Sakura, I don't hear half of what you're saying. I don't know what it is.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
So far,
I'll just say this, but we can see like how like Gil, like in the episode, was pretty cold. Like she was talking to him, and he seems like he's just like, not like he's. But I think the best way.
yeah, I could still only hear half, but I think you were talking about how he was cold all the way from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I just think that, like, I mean, from like the beginning, like we were like, you know, from when we were first introduced to him, like we all had a bad feeling about him. And I feel like, which is funny because he didn't actually do anything for several episodes, but like, I think, yeah, he was trying, like, I think that Lily was trying to make it so that like, it was obvious that like this man is us from like day one, you know?
Very true.
Which doesn't correspond necessarily to real life because people's looks don't always correspond to their moral behavior, but yeah. And, here she is. She's now back on the boat looking at the rhinoceros and thinking to herself, and today I learned, and she's remembering Tora's hand. And she's clutching the rhino and triceratops. She's taking, she said that angels are real and some of them dress in black. Oh, it's Tora.
And is gigantic with giant tattoos all over his gigantic muscly arms. But
Yep. So she's, learning to not judge people by their exterior.
Right.
So now we are back on the outside of the boat, and Tora and Poppy are outside, and the two cops have been there. And now the boat rental lady said, "𝗣𝗁𝗱𝗆, gents." And they're like, "Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am." And she looks there at them with her 𝗪𝗶𝗱𝗆 resting bitch face. She's like, "You too."
Yeah.
Classic. And Poppy said, "We had nothing to do with this, ma'am, honest." And Tora's like just giving a wry smile, and he's like, "Well, shit." Because they're like convincing the lady yesterday, like, "Oh, we're in a photo shoot for models," and then they come back with like this half dead lady, and she's like,
I know, right?
So much for looking innocent. And the lady thinks to herself, "I didn't pick it up last night, but that man is no ordinary street thug. Not gonna rub shoulders with this one." And she thinks to herself, showing her the ropes, huh? He's a wily one, or a willy one, looking all proud of his little protege, and she doesn't even have a clue. I guess she thinks that Poppy is mafiosa in training.
Seriously, like they're gonna look at Poppy and be like, "Oh, well, she's definitely a mafia type in training." Like this, like 4'11", 5-0 on a good day, like
Like they always say.
Feels a little bit rainy.
I guess.
But she doesn't want to start up with him. And Tora is glancing inside at Louise, and she sees Louise saying, "Shh." I'm not quite sure what is she saying shh about. But
Maybe that she's there. I don't know.
then she comes out right away, so I'm a little confused.
I don't
Is she
know.
telling him to just not talk and let her talk? She's gonna.
Probably, maybe that's yeah.
So she comes out and she's like, "Better you than those F-wits. Couldn't even look at a missing person to save her ass." Huh? What?
I don't know what she's saying there. Like maybe she's telling.
The fuckwits.
I'm assuming the cops. I don't know. Maybe she.
Yeah.
Maybe she thinks that she was like declared missing or something.
Yeah, I guess. I'm a little confused also. Yeah, I don't know. And then she comes out to them. She's like, "I'm over here. And those two saved my life. So you cops better leave them the hell alone." Ooh, feisty. Yeah. And she's like, "Okay." The Fisher lady is like, okay, I got it. And she's like, "What is up with today?" And the cop's like, "Ma'am, the statements." And she's like, "No statements. We didn't see anyone else here. You boys can take full credit for the rescue." "Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am." Oh, they're so happy.
I gotcha. Maybe that's what she's trying to give them something, because if reports that they got if they got their statements and stuff like that, and it was official that they were the ones who rescued her, maybe like it would put them in danger, I'm assuming.
Yeah, 100%. Right. And she's like, "Oh, those civilians yelling at me like I'm the bad guy here." Poor lady. And she's like, I thought you were," Poppy says to the lady, "I thought you were retired," because the Cops Association retired, whatever. She's like, "Fudge biscuits." And she's like, "Retired? When did I ever say that? That's my husband, not me." I was like, "Whoa." And the rescue medics are leading Louise into a boat, and she's like, "I don't need a stretcher. Have you two survived a deserted island while pregnant?" Wow. Sassy.
Fair.
And she's like, "Take care." Poppy said, "Take care." Louise is like, "You too." And they're waving all jovially. And Poppy is being all angelic and cute. And the medic's like, "What a set of lungs she has," which I think is Poppy, who yelled, "Take care." And she's like, "Oh yeah, my aunt's yellow too, and my uncle never says a word." So yeah, because Poppy talked, Tora said nothing. And Louise is thinking to herself, sometimes angels come in oversized fisherman's clothes too.
Aww.
But then she thinks to herself, "I'm sorry, Captain. I don't think the little one made it after all." She's holding her belly. "I'll be okay though." Oh, well, I guess we'll find out, but
I hope so. I don't know. I know somebody in the Facebook group was saying that, it might be for the best after all, because then there's nothing tying her to Gil, and she can like make a full split with him from her life, because it's kind of stupid. Like some of the laws, I don't know if Lily's basing the laws in this country, but like a lot of the laws surrounding stuff like he would still have like parental rights, even though if he's in jail for attempted murder,
Yeah, I hear that. That definitely is something. I mean, she seems to be at peace, but obviously for many people it's a very sensitive and sad topic. So, well, we'll see. And Poppy, looks out. She's all happy and all satisfied and content, and she's like, "That was so satisfying. I feel my heart so full now." And she looks up and she's like, "What's that, Tora?" Tora has in his hand a little 4GB SD card.
Dun, dun, dun.
So now we know, what did she get out of that phone there in the basement?
I'm assuming that she had, like the, SD card in her phone, and she just snuck it out real quick before he saw, but I'm assuming she knew something and was able to send in, like, maybe she knew something about the notebook, and that's why Gil was saying, "Oh, you got us into this situation." Remember how, like, way back, that even after the notebook went missing, somebody got caught from the notebook? Like, it was obvious, I'm wondering if she is the one who turned that person in. And she has that notebook somehow, like either in pictures or something on her phone, or she has information about the notebook on her phone.
That is very smart.
Yeah.
Because think about how, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like what benefit would Gil and Scharch have to get out money, maybe?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking that, with how smart she is, and she's like, oh, she's obviously seen a lot of true crime and stuff like that. I'm assuming she saw something like super shady that her husband was doing, and then was like, yeah, she was like, well, I'm gonna need this later. Who knows why? Especially if she knew she was pregnant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Well, we have 30 seconds left. So it's good timing. I know you have to go. So yeah, well, we got some good plot movement this episode, the answers. And I'm looking forward to, learning more next time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sakura and Mem. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good night.
Great night.
Good night.
Good night. I'll try it.
Thank you so much to my current patrons: Susie, Lily, Molly, Veronica, Emily, 𝗪𝗱𝗱𝗁, Saucy, Tuggles, Ann Rose, Alexa, Misty, Joanne, Esther, I'm Watching It People, Emily, Jean, Kay, Lily, Beckett, Duranda, Christine, Sadie, Teresa, Mrs. Gostadal, and 𝗟𝗶𝗱𝗆. Your support is truly appreciated.